A very important gentleman here tonight, patriot as well. His name is Joe Oltmann. Joe, first of all, welcome to the show. I appreciate you.
Hey, thanks a lot. Thanks for inviting me.
You're very welcome, and let's dive right in because you have a crazy schedule because of what we're going to talk about tonight, and I want to make sure we get as much information out to the public as humanly possible. Um, First of all, give us a background on who you are and what you do.
My name is Joe Oltmann. I'm a tech CEO, so I'm the CEO of a tech company. That's probably the biggest thing that I do, but I own a bunch of companies nationwide, and we're one of the largest first-party data aggregators in the nation, but I'm also the host of Conservative Daily, and I started this thing called FEC United. So I'm kind of the consummate entrepreneur, I guess.
A lot of us who are watching this, and myself included, understand that completely. And it is the world we live in, which is a Sunday night, and I'm still working, you're still working, and this is actually, I tell people, this is for the Republic. I think we have a large majority who are still asleep, and it's not that we need the whole majority. We just need a small minority who are fighting and working to save this place and keep the republic. But that's what we're doing. That's why we're working around the clock. You have been involved with this whole voting issue and the keyword, the magic word that I say tonight. Once I say this word, game over. Dominion.
Yeah.
And I got a video sent to me by a good friend of ours, both, and I watched the video that you were on, and as soon as I saw it, I was like, wow. And then we set this interview up. Can you give everyone the background and like what is going on with Dominion and how are you connected to it?
I'll kind of just back up a little bit on this. So when the pandemic happened, I saw them strip away the constitutional integrity of our country almost overnight. I saw people actually suffering. I saw lots of businesses that we represented um, watch as big businesses such as Walmart and everyone else got a holiday, while businesses from the community were suffering. Now we represent enterprise clients all the way down to small business clients, but I just felt like it was time that we had to stand up. And so we developed this organization called FEC United. And we've only been out there for about 25 weeks. We have about 91,000 members. And, I just wanted to basically restore, that constitutional integrity to our community. So it stands for Faith, Education, and Commerce. And so anyway, I started that organization. And through this, I started getting attacked by these Antifa journalists. And I couldn't understand why they were doing what they did and why they were attacking what we were doing, which is, we have FEC United and UADF, United American Defense Force, and John Tig Tigan runs that organization. And it's designed to protect the community from people that would come in and do harm to the community. And so I set out in September to identify who the Antifa journalists were, these activist journalists that were just basically slandering and doxing people in the community. And when I did that, I got access to a phone call, conference call for Antifa. And so I was actually only looking for journalists. I wasn't looking for anyone else. I was looking for politicians, people that would be associated with this organization called Our Republic, or excuse me, Our Revolution, which has turned out to be just a terrorist organization that has threatened to, kill people in the streets, that, really left-leaning politicians support. And so I'll just kind of go through the call. So the call was pretty simple. They started with the rhetoric, racist, 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 fascist, fascist, fascist. There's not a whole lot of organization to it. People talk over each other, and then it settles down. And inside of the phone call, the first conversation was, okay, this guy Eric's going to talk. Sorry, my son is actually hitting me up, but
It's okay.
he Eric starts talking. Somebody asks who Eric is, and they said, well, he's a Dominion guy, right? So I just wrote down, I write copious notes. I wrote down, Eric Dominion, and then continued on the conversation. So as the conversation progressed, somebody told him to carry on. Somebody interrupted again and said, what are we going to do if Trump wins in November? We have to have a plan. And he said, you don't have to worry about the election. Trump's not going to win. I made effing sure of that. And everybody started laughing, and somebody says, yeah, effing right. And I was just laughing. Like, I went back and was having a conversation with Tig, and I was like, yeah, these guys think that they're Jedi warriors and that they can just will themselves to a victory. And so, but I did do some research on Eric, got some information out of that call from other people that were activists, and I just put in the Google search Eric Dominion, Denver, Colorado, and up popped Eric Coomer, Dominion voting systems. Now, I started doing research on Eric Coomer, and he's got a doctorate in nuclear physics from Cal Berkeley. Very, very smart. Has a vast background in data and coding. So he's an expert in coding. And so I just did research, a little bit of research, put it aside, and said to myself, there's no way this guy's Antifa. I'm just going to, he's got to work for one of the FBI, CIA, one of those guys, right? And so I just set it aside and went on my merry way. Well, fast forward to the election. We all know what happened on the election night. We went to sleep thinking that Trump was up 400,000 or 500,000 in Pennsylvania, that he was as close to a shoe-in as you could possibly get. But you also saw the media just hesitate on calling states that normally they would call. Like, it was a very strange environment. So we knew that there was this coup, or I'm going to call it a coup, but we knew there's this underbelly of conspiracy. And you can say it's conspiracy theory. It's not a conspiracy theory if it's actually happening, right? But and my feeling was that something had to tie all this stuff together, but I didn't know what it was. So I went elk hunting on Friday, and a friend of mine sent me an article and said, hey, read this. And normally I don't read it, but I was thumbing through the article and reading it, and there's Eric Coomer's name, and I go, oh my gosh, you get that point where your heart sinks, right? Like, you just literally stop, and you go, I got to dig into this. So I went back through my notes, started going through and just looking up Eric Coomer, and I go, I got to get access to his social media account. And so that night, I got access to his social media account. I got access to his Facebook page. And as I was going through his Facebook page, you can start to see some of the things that he was putting on there that, frankly, is scary. It's scary stuff.
Yeah, it's outrageous stuff. I was looking a little bit. I'm like, just as I'm scanning here, it's insane. I watched some of the Michelle Malkin interview with you, and I'm like, oh my God, people have no idea what's going on underneath their notes.
Yeah, and stuff like he on June 2nd, he posted the Antifa manifesto. What's really interesting is people have been able to correlate like when that actually came out and who else published it, things like that. And it's really scary just to see how close to Antifa he is, right? And this idea, right? It's just an idea. And you'll see other posts where he posts a capture of the song for Dead President, one for F the Police, one for Kill the Police or Kill Cops. You have a rant that he put on that I think is, it's shocking what he wrote. He puts up on July 6th, puts up another post saying that he's glad somebody's dead. You just can't. It's sociopathic, the type of stuff he was putting on his Facebook page. What was even more chilling is that how people were agreeing with him. His friends were agreeing with him in the comments. I found that to be fascinating because here's a guy that has a PhD in nuclear physics. He has a high-profile job. So I started digging into Twitter handles, Reddit, places where he posted, started correlating information, and it got scarier and scarier the deeper I got. Now, I want to tell you something. I made sure 150,000% that this was the Eric Coomer that works at Dominion. I was able to correlate all the information back to his Facebook page. And then I just started sending the information out to different organizations saying, hey, look, this is something you need to look into. This guy is not nonpartisan. This gentleman actually put his finger on the scales of the election. And if you put together the other, the Benford law, which basically showed categorically from a mathematical standpoint, it's not even debatable that there was a large-scale fraud in multiple states in our country to hand Joe Biden the victory. And then you do ARIMA analysis, you can do scope analysis using mathematics or using science, using some of the political science that's out there. Not one of those would show that there is even a 1% probability that the elections could have gone the way that they did in any of the states that we've examined. And we've examined all the swing states from Nevada to Arizona. So then what I did is I went through and did an analysis of all of the states, right? So I did an analysis of Nevada and tried to figure out in Arizona and Georgia, like when did they start using Dominion? And the reason why I didn't do anything way back when is that I didn't know that Dominion was in 40 states. I didn't know that it had a firm grip on 23 to 28
states. And Dominion is in 40 states. Yeah. And this guy is Antifa, and he's basically running it, correct?
Yeah, he is basically the hidden leader of the company. And you'd say, well, Joe, how do you know that? Well, I'm the CEO of my company, right? And there are times that I don't tell people who I am when I go into meetings and things like that. And that's, in essence, he is the cog to the wheel. He's everywhere. He's got his fingerprints in every state. Arizona, they had the minutes in Phoenix, Maricopa County, where they were actually in October 29th of last year, of 2019, selling this product into the election committee, right? And he was the one doing it. Then you talk about different articles that were written in different states, Georgia, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, and his name pops up everywhere. Pops up as a spokesperson for Dominion, where he talks about, what this glitch is not normal. So he is a director of strategy and security, but really he's the linchpin, right? He is the brain behind this deal, the one that they prop up everywhere. Then you can look at I started correlating some of his patents that he has and who he's actually associated with on those patents. Larry Kolb and some other people that have some really bad histories behind them. And then you look at Feinstein and the connections he has to her husband and to her longtime campaign manager. And so the further you get down the rabbit hole, the worse it gets, right? And these aren't coincidences. These aren't just like they just popped up. And see, the states were designed to be independent. The states' elections were designed to be independent, which is why that they have their own election process. They actually have their own election machines. But what happened in this election is that you had a single cog to the wheel that could go in and put their finger on the voice of the American people. So it 100%, we know mathematically speaking that there is massive fraud, but now we have a weaponization of the media, we have a weaponization of technology companies that are now putting their fingers on that scale as well to cover up what Dominion is doing, right? And I have to tell you this, Jason, if I'm wrong, then why are they saying they want to kill me? Why are they, why did they scrub the entire internet of Eric Coomer, take him off the website? I mean, I'm talking take it off of like Lead Candy, which is, just a source that actually tells you who serves. Why is Dominion off of LinkedIn altogether? Why are they having all the people that work for them scrub all their information, right? That's not what you do if you're why is Wikipedia locking down Dominion voting systems page and then saying that it's a hoax by QAnon? It wasn't a hoax by QAnon. I'm the one that brought out Dominion. I'm not QAnon. I'm a business owner that has a family, right? I got to the bottom of it by accidentally being on a call where his name came up and he came up. So, the whole idea that they can ignore truth and, subvert the Constitution in our country, it's wrong. It's wrong. And me standing up is not something I really want to do, just so we're clear. But I feel like I have an obligation to stand up. So I've signed an affidavit. I've submitted the affidavit, which I take very seriously. I've turned over the information that I have to you, to the Trump campaign and the Department of Justice. I've had to hire security for my family, so it's been.
Yeah, you are, as I say, you're. Everyone who comes on this show who's doing something like this, or even something remotely like this, because what you're pulling off right now is monumental, and you're starting to get some leverage out there. People are listening, but you're a warrior, you're a patriot. What you're doing, I mean, this is I tell people this is for the Republic. This is not. This is. We either get it back right now, or there is no coming back. I mean, I was doing some research, watching some of the stuff you're doing and some of the tweets and the feeds, and I mean, this guy Coomer, who I've showed a few of his posts to the viewers. We're talking Antifa. We're talking he's a shareholder of the Dominion company, and he's Antifa, and he holds patents. I mean, this seems like to me, this is a total subversion of the entire system. But on top of that, I kind of roll it back and I think to myself, how does the people like Nancy Pelosi and Feinstein and the Bidens of the world, how do they stay in office for so long when so many people seem to not like them? And then I realize this has been going on for so long. Now, is Coomer just kind of like the latest one in this cover doing this, or has this been going? Have you traced this back for quite a ways?
Well, so I mean, obviously, I have access to more data, and I have access to different tools that allow me to look into things that normally you wouldn't be able to look into, right? So we're one of the larger first-party data aggregators in the nation, and so I've been able to, do correlations of information not just on Eric Coomer, but other people in the organization. So you have Tomas, you have Ian. I mean, there's just, and I'll use first names only because, I hope that one of these other executives or high-end guys comes forward before they end up finding themselves, being the one to take the blame, right? So I do know that there's 3 or 4 whistleblowers, but the 3 or 4 whistleblowers that they're out there are, I don't know if, I guess I don't have access to that information, but I don't know if they're high enough up the chain that they can take down the machine. But I do believe that given all this information, if we can put it together and have everyone just be patient and walk softly through this as you collect different information, that Dominion will come down, and a lot of people are going to go to prison for a long time for what they've tried to do to our country. So yes, I have lots of information, and I'm at work right now because I wanted to make sure that I was 100% sure before I started releasing other information about other people in Dominion as well. Understanding that I'm a target. I just ask that people say nice things about me at my funeral.
Dude, we're not going to get to that extent. This is we got to make sure this is, for lack of a better word, executed correctly to the public so that they understand what's going on. I mean, I was listening to Sidney Powell like over the last couple days, and they're talking about this started in Venezuela. We have Cuba on the map. We have China on the map that this is potentially connected to, and that means you have servers. You have voting going into software. They then goes into servers. The votes aren't even being counted technically in the United States of America. This is a complete subversion of the entire nation. Am I correct there? Am I going crazy?
No, you're not. And the reality of it is that I've been told by several people. Sorry, that was my son who's knocking on the window.
You're fine. We are a family show, so take care of your son if you need to.
So I've been told, okay, that's not the smoking gun. And I go, you're not going to find a smoking gun. It's called code. You can't find a smoking gun in code. You can't find a smoking gun when you have a conspiracy with other people. You have people that are literally trying to hide things and take the plug-in for, the USB, and you have voting machines that are connected to the internet, and you have no understanding of code. So we as conservatives, I'm one of the few people that understands code, understands technology, but we're not very tech savvy on the conservative side. We're just not, right? So we're always playing catch up. So we assume that people are going to just do right until we get to this place right now where we find ourselves playing from behind and knowing something's wrong, but not knowing how to get to it, right? So you're not going to find a smoking gun. You just have to put all of this stuff together as one and say, look, how can a guy that believes in Antifa, that wants to say F the USA, dead president, printing the Antifa manifesto, who has his fingers in every one of the states that's having a problem, that has ballots missing and votes being switched and all the problems that we're dealing with, and tell me that we have a legitimate election, because we don't. We don't. We don't have, this is not, this 100% is designed to take away the American voice. And if that's the case, and if they get away with this, then we are no longer a republic. We are at that point a communist society. And now it's just the illusion of having freedom. It's the illusion of opportunity if they choose to give it to you. And this is the scariest time, I think, in our country's history. And it's a pivotal moment. And I think that's one of the reasons why, as I stand up, I can't just stomach it and sit back and watch and wait another 4 years. And that has nothing to do with, by the way, me being a Trump supporter. If President Trump would have lost this election fairly, like if he would have lost it and the voice of the people would have said that Biden was president, then I would have to just lick my wounds and expect that that's the direction the country wants to take. But that's not the case. So I find it crazy that, President Trump's been fighting for us for 4 years and doing things to put America first, and there's so many people that are relenting to the fact that let's just give in. We cannot retreat. We cannot surrender. We cannot surrender the sovereignty of our nation to people that would basically say that your voice doesn't matter. And I think that's the powerful thing that we have to take away from this, is that no BLM or Antifa or burning down stuff, that stuff can't be permitted, right? We got to be able to push that aside and say, look, you want to talk? And Jason, if I can just squirrel a minute.
Absolutely.
When you talk about police officers or racial inequality, so my dad is black, my mom is white, my whole family's interracial. I love my family. I had to deal with racism growing up. I grew up in the Washington, D.C. area. And to put another kind of caveat on that, my brother was murdered by a police officer 3 years ago. You can't talk to me about accountability. I'm living it. I'm spending money to make sure that I can actually get justice for my brother. And justice is expensive. And I want accountability. So there are certain things that people say where I go, look, I back the blue 100%, but we do have to have more transparency. Yet in this election, we've gone backwards. Like we're talking about one thing that we want over here, while we're basically subverting our Constitution and our communities over here.
No, 100%. And I agree across the board. And I love the fact, you come from that background, because no one can blame you for being biased, because you're absolutely not. And you come from a diverse background. So you are literally just on a mission to get something handled. Now, I want to cover a couple things, and then I want to promo your stuff. And I know you got to go, so that's fine. We'll speed it up. But Dominion's in 40 states. But was it independently only used in 28 states? And I believe Arizona, Maricopa County is having a major problem. Take us through a little bit of that.
So the election itself is counties can actually choose. Their officials can choose per county whether or not they actually adopt this technology, depending on the state laws and the county laws. And so there are places like Texas that basically said that they were not going to certify it. They said there's too many problems with it. And so in Maricopa County specifically, they chose to go with the Dominion system. And what are you facing now? We're facing audit issues. We're facing issues with predominantly around the mail-in ballot system, and then how they're actually counting those ballots. They're facing the same problem in Wisconsin, right? They're facing the same problems and frankly, if we just put it aside, if we solve the issue with Dominion coming in and basically running our elections, right, and saying, hey, you just got to trust us, right? If we solve that problem with Dominion, we're going to see other election machines and organizations fall as well, because they're also backed by money within the Clinton Foundation and within foreign interests, right? And frankly, if we're talking about Dominion's a foreign company. I didn't know if you know that, but it's based out of Canada. So we have a Canadian company, right, that wants us to trust the fact that these election machines are 100% legitimate, when mathematically speaking, they're not legitimate, right? None of the math adds up. There's not one mathematician, and they're silencing all of them. There's one that came out of Harvard that has a PhD in game theory. There's another one that came out of MIT that did a complete study, and they basically silenced them and deplatformed them. And these are people, by the way, that are left-leaning, that are saying, look, the scary part about this is if we let this stand, then we have no democratic republic. We don't have it. It's gone. And so the fear that they have is how do they know that they'll survive this through this transition to a communist or socialist society? And that's why you have people on the left that are even standing up saying, hey, I can't support this. I didn't vote for President Trump, but I think that President Trump is the rightful winner of the election.
Yeah, I totally agree. And it's interesting. I'm looking up. I did a real quick search of this while you were talking because I remember the executive order, but I didn't remember the number. But it's the executive order on imposing certain sanctions in the event of foreign interference in a United States election, which was issued September 12th, 2018. Now, I've read this, but it's been a little while, so I'd have to go back through it. But I'm assuming, from what I recall, this could actually connect and help handle this exact problem because that's really what Dominion is. I mean, we have foreign interference in an election. Is that correct?
Yes, we do. 100%. There's no question. And I think that the hard part for the American people to swallow is that they're not getting this message out, which is one of the reasons why I'm having interviews all day long, right? I mean, literally, this is like the 6th one I've done today on the radio, newspaper. Tomorrow is going to be a big day. I'm doing that because everyone has to know that the truth is not what the media and big tech is actually feeding us. It's not.
Yeah, no, 100%. Now, I just have a question for you before I ask about where they can find you, and I do want to go over your organizations and have you promo this because you're such a patriot. As I was researching into it and talking to our mutual friend, I'm like, man, he is amazing. But over the next week, and then the next couple weeks up until the December deadline, as well as some other deadlines, if this truly does come out, which I actually personally believe that the president was part of a sting operation on purpose and they kind of know what's going on. I know you're nodding your head. I don't like that nodding of the head.
I don't believe. Look, I always believe that President Trump always thinks two steps ahead. But you know, the enemy from within, right? So he's been infiltrated by people that have had these kind of thoughts of just changing the direction of our country, right? They feel like they're on a mission to change it, and I frankly don't believe that. You know, first of all, there is no national ballots that are watermarked. That's not true. That's absolutely not true. And I think that the dangers that we have is that we can't instill hope that, hey, I hope this is true. We have to create our own future, right? We have to be able to stand up. We have 73 million people. If we all actually take action, if we all decide that the direction and the future of our country is in our hands, if we stand up, we will get what we want, right? But if we wait and expect that President Trump is going to do it all by himself, and that somewhere along the line that executive order is going to take care of it, we're going to find that this coup is bigger than we think it is. It's actually really big. For it to get the way it was, where Dominion is across as many states and has executed on this plan, which, by the way, they've been planning for decades. You know, we're going to have to stand up. We're going to have to not wait and see. We're going to have to start demanding action right now. Right? And demanding action from the media, demanding action from the big tech companies, getting away from big tech, right? So I'm walking away. I'm walking away from Facebook. I already got kicked off of Twitter because I told the truth. I'm going to go to Parler. I'm going to go to MeWe. I'm done, right? And I'm in a tech business, so I'm building technology now that'll help us deplatform platforms. And so but we cannot continue to go down this path where and this is just me challenging people that are listening, we can't continue to go down this path where we wait and see, right? That we accept defeat. There is no defeat in this at all. If we get defeated here, right, this is actually a pivotal point in our country, right, where they would have won.
And that's what I was going to ask. If this is exposed correctly, what do you believe the ramifications are over the next month if we find out that this was completely subverted by an international company?
Well, see, you're never going to get to the place where you have 100% smoking gun. You're not. We have to use math and science. We have to use education. We have to use this data we have on a guy that is a linchpin inside a Dominion environment. We have to use it. And if we use it correctly, we put all this data together, like the lost USB drive, with all the drama, it was almost like a sleight of hand. It disappeared for 10 minutes in the whole deal. If we use all the information we have on the ballots and and how they're rewriting election laws inside the states that violate the state and national constitution, we'll be fine, because the people will literally rally in the streets. You think BLM's a problem? No, BLM's not a problem. Antifa's not a problem. A problem would be 73 million Americans and their families, so more like 120 million Americans coming into the street and showing them exactly what power looks like, having our own Boston Tea Party. Now, I'm not saying it has to be violent, but we've been on the defensive far too long in order to protect our country. We should be on the offensive. We should be pushing up against them while we're showing President Trump and others that we're not willing to let them steal our country.
I would 100% agree. Do me a favor. Let us know about the different organizations you're involved with. I can bring up the FEC United, but let them know where they can find you, the different places.
So please do not give me a friend request on Facebook. I get about 900 every 15 minutes. I almost turned off friend requests. I will not take any more friend requests on Facebook. You can find me on Parler at Joe Oltmann. You can find me at FEC United if you want to get involved in that. It will be a national organization that will have a law and policy center that will allow us to have teeth in our communities and replace some of these organizations that aren't doing enough to help places of faith, to stop indoctrination in education, and to help businesses. And then also, we started Conservative Daily 11 years ago. I have a podcast every single day from noon to 1. And, there's two things I don't like, Jason. I'm just going to tell you. I don't like notoriety, and I don't need money. I've been blessed. And so what I'm doing now is 100% just because I want people in the community to feel like courage is more infectious than fear, that they can actually stand up and act with conviction and understand that the other side might beat on them. But if you stand up with courage, other people will stand up with courage, and all of a sudden we'll get our society, we'll get our communities back.
So perfectly and well stated, Joe. I know you are crazy busy. You have calls and interviews, and I'm going to tell everyone tomorrow. I can't say what it is, but if you, by tomorrow afternoon or evening, if you Google Joe's name, yeah, I promise you will most likely see something quite amazing. And I am excited about that, because that means the world potentially wakes up tomorrow with this exposure. So, Joe, thank you again for your time. I really appreciate it. You're amazing. Thank you for being a warrior and a patriot and just an amazing individual.
All right. Thank you. God bless you. God bless your listeners, and God bless the United States.
Thank you, sir. Have a wonderful evening.
Take care.
Stay safe. Okay. So that was heavy. Joe is a great individual. His information was sent over by a mutual friend of his and mine, and he was able, literally this happened in the last probably couple hours, he was able to get on, and so I gave him the time. I was planning on doing a full Sunday night with you guys, but I felt that was necessary. Now, some of you are going to say, what'd he say? Watermark this, watermark that. Does the president know? I don't know. So I am going based on information that I obviously research, which also is from contacts out there. Some I might know, some I don't know. And then there's Joe. Do I know if he is 100% right? I don't know. What I'm saying is, either way, getting all of this information out there is the vital part, because no matter what, either way, whether there's watermarks or there's not, or the president knows this and it was a sting operation or not, again, I actually said a couple nights ago, be very cautious on who you're watching, what you're watching, because I do not have all the facts for you. What I do is I dig, I look at what everyone else is saying, I look at posts, I study and read myself, and I bring to you what we can find. So, if someone out there is saying, absolutely it's 100% this, by the way, Joe is on boots on the ground. Joe is in the game. Okay? Joe's in front of a camera. He does a podcast as well, but he's in the game. So I'm not saying anyone's right or anyone's wrong. I am just saying no matter what, it doesn't matter. This information needs to go forward because you can't not have this information go forward. This is a two-party system of which I personally despise. I've told you many times. I do not like the Republican-Democrat thing, right? I believe we should vote on values and the Constitution, right? We should vote on our founding documents. Who is best going to carry out the founding values of this country, all right? So, with that, we cannot elect a Joe Biden. That cannot happen. And if it does, we have a whole different world and game that we have to play in, okay? That's a whole thing. Let's not even talk about that. We've talked about it in the past, and if it manifests, which it won't, we'll deal with it, not tonight. Therefore, let's focus on the Trump presidency. I do not worship the president. I like what he has said. I like what he continues to state. I like that he has built his world and he continues to build. That's what I voted for, was building, and the fact that he said going back to the Constitution. Right? Do I love everything he said? No, I don't love everything he tweets. I've said that before. If you actually go back to my Facebook page, even years ago, there were times when I posted things I did not like with the president. I did not like the president taking out Soleimani, the Iranian general. I didn't like it because you're bypassing Congress. Now, do I know why he did it? I do. I still don't like it because that's not checks and balances. I don't like when they bombed I believe, a chemical plant in Syria. I believed at the time that was a declaration of war and he bypassed congressional approval. Now, out of all the things he does, the handful of things that I don't care versus the gigantic bag full of stuff that he has done well, I still have to support with the idea that I believe he is going to help us recreate the democratically represented constitutional republic. However, if he doesn't do that, different game. Because I don't worship the president. I focus on making our country the best it can be. I don't worship the Q phenomenon. But I like it, I follow it, and I hope in it, and I currently trust the plan because it's the best thing that we have right now going. But if it goes awry or if it's a psyop or anything like that, and I know people don't like me bringing this up, too bad. You have to discuss these things because this is how you prepare in case you have to pivot. I've said pivot so many times because pivoting is part of life. Change is part of life. The reason I say that tonight is because Joe said some things tonight that were different than what you've heard. Joe said he did not believe there were watermarks on the ballots. Okay, I don't know. I'm bringing you viewpoints and perspectives. All right? I said, I believe there are, based on what people have said, and some very high up people that I know typically say the right things. But either way, we have another viewpoint now of somebody who is on the ground, who has done the research on this voting company that is not American based. As Sidney Powell said the other day, and then as she said again in the last couple days. So you have to always, always, always be prepared. Now, I have some things that I want to show you tonight. This is what I was actually going to do originally tonight, but there were some clips I wanted to show you, and I'm going to start off with this, okay? I'm going to start off with Sidney Powell on Judge Jeanine Pirro, and I'm hoping the audio is going to work here tonight. Let me bring it over here and see if it does.
To the election without a new certification is going to have to invalidate its votes. It's going to have to go to the state legislatures to be decided, Jeanine. And there's another thing. Democratic office holders have been raising issues with the Dominion machines for a long time, and the government has turned a blind eye to those. So there's also a substantial reason for them to keep the government people to keep defending themselves.
Sidney, I believe that it's Elizabeth Warren, Amy Klobuchar, I was reading, and another senator that I don't remember, all had objections to Dominion because it was capable of being manipulated. Those are just two, and I know I read about three. Go ahead.
Yes, Carolyn Maloney, I think, was the first one, and she commissioned a report on it, which we happen to have a copy of. Notably, all the articles that she cited in the letter that she wrote, and I don't remember right now which government official she wrote it to, but all the articles she cited have been wiped from the internet in the last few days. And also, Mr. Lord Malloch Brown's name has been taken off the website for the company that he runs through the UK and Canada that has a role in this. It's either Symantec or Smartmatic or the two. One is a subsidiary of the other. It's all inextricably intertwined. The money creating it came out of Venezuela and Cuba. It was created for the express purpose of being able to alter votes and secure the re-election of Hugo Chavez and then Maduro. They've used it in Argentina. There is an American citizen who has exported it to other countries. And it is one huge, huge criminal conspiracy that should be investigated by military intelligence for its national security implications.
Yes, hopefully the Department of Justice, but who knows anymore. Sidney Powell, good luck on your mission. Thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Thank you, Judge Jeanine. And people who want to help can contribute to this defense at www.defendingtherepublic.org.
So there was Pirro, and then we also have Maria. Let me bring Maria up because this was also huge.
Tell me how he fits into all of that.
Let me bring this up for you.
Peter Neffinger, tell me how he fits into all of this.
Yes, well, he is listed as its former Admiral Peter Neffinger, or retired Admiral Peter Neffinger. He is president and on the board of directors of Smartmatic, and it just so happens he's on Mr. Biden's presidential transition team that's going to be non-existent because we're fixing to overturn the results of the election in multiple states. And President Trump won by not just hundreds of thousands of votes, but by millions of votes that were shifted by this software that was designed expressly for that purpose. We have sworn witness testimony of why the software was designed. It was designed to rig elections. He was fully briefed on it. He saw it happen in other countries. It was exported internationally for profit by the people that are behind Smartmatic and Dominion. They did this on purpose. It was calculated. They've done it before. We have evidence from 2016 in California. We have so much evidence, I feel like it's coming in through a fire hose.
So she feels like it's coming in through a fire hose. So let me make a brief statement before I show you this final thing that I find very, very important. I mentioned the other night, and this was not to blast anybody. out there who is creating their own shows or anything like that. That had nothing to do with it. This was simply to, I want everyone to get the most accurate information possible, no matter where you get it from, whether it's this show or other people's shows. I personally believe everyone out there doing a show based on what is happening right now is a phenomenal individual and are doing it for the right reasons, because the wrong reasons, we already know what that is. That's the other side. That's the radical Marxist communist left, okay? However, the reason I said that was I watched 2 or 3 videos today from random well-known YouTubers that people know of in this space. And they had very wonderful things to talk about, right? However, they are not saying what is being said by people like Sidney Powell. So you're going to say, oh, well, she was on Fox News and Fox is bad. Throw the network part out of it. Sidney Powell is one of the most high-powered attorneys on the face of the planet. She is with the president. She is with General Flynn. Therefore, I don't care if Sidney Powell goes on Fox News. I don't care if she goes on CNN. I don't care if she goes on MSNBC. Sidney Powell is the one I'm listening to because Sidney Powell is the only one that actually has real inside information, because she's next to General Flynn and President Trump on essentially a weekly basis. Sidney Powell is not communicating with YouTube land. Sidney Powell is not communicating with me. Therefore, when you're talking about source, you have to go to the people who are actually connected with this real life thing. All right? So that's what I wanted to portray the other day, and it just happened to be perfect timing because Sidney Powell has done 3 interviews in the last couple of days where she is talking about literally, and then Joe tonight. So when Joe said things like he didn't believe that President Trump knew this was going to occur. Okay. That's not what I have read. But guess what? Joe is more connected to this thing than a lot of people on YouTube. Right? Now, I'm going to tell you, I can't say who it is because he talked to me and it's not able to. Joe tomorrow is going on to one of the largest audiences in media. And it's not going to be for 30 minutes or whatever it was like tonight. It's not going to be probably for an hour like it was on Michelle Malkin's show. I love Michelle Malkin. She's fantastic. But tomorrow, Joe goes on to expose this to an audience of multiple millions. Joe is not lying. That's one of the reasons I wanted to have him on tonight. My connection called me and said, hey, are you willing to have? Absolutely. Boots on the ground. He is connected with it. All right. So I just wanted to bring that up. Now, I also posted earlier tonight, and I'm going to show you this last thread on Twitter, this is so big. This is so big that it's hard to explain how this forever changes America. Okay? Forever. I posted earlier tonight 35 million plus votes. All right? Let me take you to a thread by Greg Rubini. Here is the Kraken, whatever you want to call it. Dominion controls 70 million votes. Dominion machines are used in 28 states, including Pennsylvania, Georgia, Michigan, Wisconsin. Dominion machines are also used in Arizona, Nevada, and in Colorado, Minnesota, Ohio. Who really won these states? Dominion machines are used also in Virginia, New Jersey, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Vermont, Illinois, California, New York State, and many more. Wherever Dominion machines are used, you can be certain the scam has been rampant. I estimate a scam of 35 million votes nationwide. In detail, Georgia, Dominion machines are used in all 159 counties. Michigan, the machines are used in 65 of the 83 counties. Arizona, they're used in Maricopa County, equals 2.2 million votes. You can flip an election in Arizona just with that one county. Nevada, they're used in 16 of the 17 counties. Illinois, they're used in Chicago and Cook County. You can easily flip an election in Illinois with those two counties. Dominion machines are used in 62 counties in Colorado. Colorado should have went most likely red. New Mexico, the machines are used in 33 counties. New York State, they're used in 84% of the counties. New Jersey, 70% of the counties. In California, their machines are used in 40 counties. San Francisco, San Diego, Sacramento, Fresno, Santa Barbara, Contra Costa, Alameda, Sonoma, Naples, Napa, San Mateo, Santa Clara, Monterey, Santa Cruz. You can tell I am not from California because I don't pronounce those all correctly. My apologies to California. Ventura, San Bernardino, San Luis Obispo, Butte County. I'm sorry, I'm a northeastern white boy. I'm not going to count these correctly or say these correctly. Colusa, Del Norte, El Dorado, Glen, Imperial, Inyo, Kern, Kings, Madera, Mariposa, Marin, and Mono. Placer, Plume. Now I'm just destroying the names. My apologies. I do not Spanish, by the way, and I live in Florida. My wife does. I depend on her. Riverside, San Benito, Shasta, Siskiyou, Sutter, Tehama, Tulare. Yeah, you can count. You can name the rest. But one important county is missing. Yes, the biggest one, Los Angeles County, 5 million votes. Los Angeles County doesn't use Dominion, but they do use Smartmatic, which is just as bad, if not worse. Smartmatic was founded by 3 guys in Venezuela in 1997. Yes, Venezuela. Then in 2014, a British guy took over. His name is Mark Malloch Brown. Actually, it's Lord Malloch Brown. We're going to get into that. Who is Mark Malloch Brown? Well, he is George Soros' guy. If you click on this, there you go. His associations to George Soros. Malloch Brown is a big gun in British politics. Former United Kingdom minister, World Bank, United Nations, and more. Mark Malloch Brown is the perfect globalist. This means that George Soros and the British guy Malloch Brown control the voting machines in Los Angeles through Smartmatic. Soros and Malloch Brown control the outcome of the election in California together with Dominion. Hook, line, and sinker. Who really won the elections in California without the rigging? Easy answer, Donald Trump. California, 62%, Biden, 35% or thereabouts. Now remember, California has 55 electoral votes, the highest number of electoral votes in the country. Therefore, without the rigging, probably Trump won also California, New York State, New Jersey, Virginia, Illinois, Colorado, New Mexico, Minnesota, New Hampshire, Washington State, which is also Dominion, Oregon, and more. It was a Trump landslide. This is likely the map of the election results without the rigging. 507 to 3. Take that in for a couple seconds. That is most likely what occurred. Yet undecided Massachusetts, Maryland, Delaware, Hawaii, because not enough data. What will happen now that the scam has been exposed? This will go directly to the Supreme Court, then military tribunals for treason. Then Trump reelected president, 4 more years. There you go. That is Greg Rubini. That is what actually occurred. Greg Rubini, go follow him. He's a great reporter. Really good guy. Let me show you his Twitter page. There you go. He's a strategy advisor, Intel, Comms, High Tech, 4 books. Okay. He is a good dude. I've been watching him for quite a while. Okay. Now, this is how serious this is. I want people to truly understand the gravity of the situation. Let me make 2 points, and then I'll take a couple questions tonight. The first point is everyone wants to know why this hasn't ended. Why doesn't he just do it? Why don't they just do it? Why don't they just do it? Again, I don't even know now what he knows. But I'll tell you, if this is in fact a military sting operation, you have to get the smoking gun. You would have to find out, you would have to know for sure who was involved. If they can tie this to the, not Soros. Soros is a puppet too. Soros is not the top of the pyramid. However, Lord Malik Brown, go look that up. He is very, very high on the pyramid, if not near the absolute top. That's why you've never heard of him before. I will tell you, full transparency tonight, the one thing that has concerned me the most in the last 9 months, but especially the last month or two, is the Great Reset. You have seen Joe Biden, you have seen Boris Johnson, you've seen Justin Trudeau, you've seen all of these globalist puppets out there talking about build back better or reimagine. They're trying to create a globalist utopia for themselves where we are their slaves. Fully slaves. Monetarily, food, transportation, you name it. It's a scary thought. I mean, this is why I am asking everyone to be aware, to be researching and planning. This is not just the latest election where someone stole it and oh crap, we have spent so long bitching and moaning about, well, these politicians, they just suck, but you know what? I don't have time to deal with them, so I'm just going to go to work and I'm going to take care of my kids and make as much money as I can here or there, and I'll survive and I'll just get by and I'll go through life. We took our hands off the wheels. If you are scared or worried about the Great Reset, and I will tell you, I am concerned with it. That's why I have gone into overdrive, overtime, to do more. Because I can't have this on this planet. My family, my friends can't go through that. I don't want you going through that. This is literally not about an election. This is about planetary enslavement and control. We need people to wake up. If you are not awake, wake up. If your people close to you, whether that's your spouse, your partner, your parents, I don't care. It is time to wake them up. And if they're like, oh, well, I don't really get it, doesn't make sense, show them. This is not just another stupid political year where they get their, no, they've been getting their way because they own the system. And yeah, I get it. God is in control. Jesus is in control. I am not denying that. However, God and Jesus said, get off your ass and get to work. Jason Q said this Friday night. You don't get to sit at your dinner table or on your couch just praying about it. That may offend you. You get up. You can pray all you want. That's fine. I love prayer. But then you get your ass up and you go out and you do what is necessary to wake up as many human beings as humanly possible. And yes, you're going to get some sheep. Too bad. Do it anyway. Because if we don't take control and responsibility back now, you won't get it. They want the United Nations coming in here and taking over. And if that occurs, you will have an uprising like you've never seen before. And if you're not ready for that, you're going to be scared to death. You understand, this isn't just for the Republic. Our Republic, America, correct Constitution or incorrect Constitution, doesn't matter. America is forever altered right now. They have not only been stealing elections, but this is the most bold they've ever gone. Do you really think that Joe Biden, let me look it up. Do you really think that Joe Biden has 78 million votes? Do you think Joe Biden is really close to 79 million votes? Do you realize Joe Biden, Joe Biden is approaching 80 million votes. If you think that is accurate, I don't know what to tell you. America will never be the same. I was going to talk about financial stuff tonight, but that's going to wait till tomorrow night because I got this last minute opportunity for Joe and I had to take it. So the finance will move to tomorrow night. I will take a couple questions and answer as much as I possibly can. My phone is now blowing up. And I will help you out as much as possible here in a couple minutes. I will go until I'll go for another 5 to 6 minutes. Okay. 5. How to prepare. Charlotte, please go back to some of my early shows and you can go through all that stuff. It's food, it's water, it's lights, it's gas, it's guns, it's everything. Okay. Money. CNN is up for sale, Carol. That's what I heard as well. AT&T is putting up for sale. I don't know the details, though. I didn't click on the article. Let's see. Food shortage, a rumor. It's possible. I don't know for sure yet. I've heard things, but I've never seen anything concrete, okay? You just Google. I can't tell you where he's gonna be tomorrow, what show he's gonna be on. I'm just gonna say Google it, and then I can tell you tomorrow night. So once it's on and done, I can tell you, obviously. Thank you, Linda. I appreciate it. Is Flynn free? Not currently. He's out. Yeah, he's on his own now, but he's not. He has not been exonerated fully. Barr. I don't know where Barr is. Who is at the top of the pyramid, Grace? I've talked about that many times. It is not human. Let's see. Have I researched the trucker strike? I have, Dr. Tanya. I don't know a lot about it though. I read that they weren't like it wasn't official. But if you guys have any more information, send it over to me. 26th to the 29th of November. If the truckers are striking, that means we are a bit screwed, because that means, I'll tell you this, if they're striking, you better buy what you need now as fast as you can, especially food wise. If the truckers are strikes, my understanding that's food. Ooh, Debbie Walsh. Good point. Let's see. Do I think the power grid will be affected? Probably at some point. Most likely, yes. Ooh, someone went to Black Rifle Company. I love it. It's fantastic. I gotta find one of their coffees that's a little less bitter. I don't like bitter coffee. My last one I got from them was bitter, but I love their company and their coffee. It tastes great. Let's see. That is correct, David. If the truckers strike, supplies are done. Food, paper, goods, ammo. Yes, I bought my toilet paper. I bought my paper towels. I am ready to go there. I have food. I have stuff I need. Yes. Is Sharpie Gate a real thing? Yes. Sharpies do not work on ballots and they will not be read correctly. That is correct. Yes, it is. Good job. Is Elon Musk a white hat? I don't know. I still don't know, actually. Let's see here. So many questions. SpaceX and NASA, Galactic Federation. Maybe. The Galactic Federation is real, folks. Some people won't want to admit that, but it is. It's as real as it gets. There is a confederacy. There is a council. There's a council of extraterrestrial civilizations that we're a part of that you won't see. Let's see. Is there going to be the Great Reset is not Nasera. Two different things. Do I believe there's going to be some sort of reset? Yeah, I do believe there's some sort. Not the Great Reset. I'm talking about a different kind of reset. They have to in America. There's no way around it. That's why I kept saying get into crypto. Crypto's coming, folks. Whether you like it or not, crypto is coming. So you might as well get ahead of it now. Water, yep. There could be another election. That could be interesting. I do watch Lori Ladd, yes. I like Lori Ladd. Lori Ladd is one of those people that help when I'm reading some dark stuff. Lori helps me stay sane. I like Lori. Same with Praying Medic and Martin Geddes and those guys. They help me stay level. And Dr. Tina St. John helps me stay level too, if she's out there and hears that. And Christie, of course. Is Trump in control of the Federal Reserve? I don't fully know. Couldn't tell you that. Yes, PayPal does have crypto now. No, the president has said no mandatory vaccines. Dr. Scott Atlas has said no mandatory vaccines. Now, if you were to get a Biden, yeah, they're coming. Everyone likes. I think I reached out to Lori. I'll have to reach out. Christy, if you're listening to this, reach out to Lori Ladd. We need her on the show. I've also been reaching out to Laura Eisenhower. She avoids me, I think. Not really. I love Laura Eisenhower as well. Laura Eisenhower is a huge Trump fan. Laura Eisenhower knows what's up. Tomorrow at 11 o'clock, this will be my final announcement, and then I'm done. This was my first night. Oh, I'm used to standing. I don't like sitting, but I sit when I have interviews sometimes because it's easier. Tomorrow, 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, I will have on here Dr. Stephanie Seneff, and we are going to talk about some rocking stuff. Dr. Stephanie Seneff, myself, good friends. She's been on the show. This is her 4th or 5th time. She might be one of my leaders, actually. She's fantastic, and we will be going over new information. Charmin, I have reached out to Dr. Cohen, and good luck trying to get a hold of him. I have tried. I will have Christy try, since she is the Dragon Slayer. All right, guys. I love you all. And again, as always, do me a favor. Tomorrow, start the week off. Go serve and help one another. I love you all. You're amazing. Have a great week. Take care of yourself. This is Dr. Jason Dean, Revolution Network. Be great.